at all well. I have to take their pieces and make them fit. And then when things look good, they're getting the pat on the back. And I thought, why am I giving? And some of these guys are real talentless schmucks. Just their talent is in hiring other people to get the work done. And that's not even necessarily a bad thing. I just I don't want to be the one making them look good and then having them get paid for it. Not to say money is the issue for me. It's actually not. I usually just get excited by someone asking me to make something. So yeah, what can I do?
And what would you like to do?
What would I like to do?
Yeah. What kind of creature would you like to transform a person into?
That's a good question. What kind of creature wouldn't I like to? It might be easier. I don't have any interest in making a unicorn. Aside from that, sky's the limit. A lot of it I don't even know. Like they Grimm said, "Hey, can you make a lava man?" I said, in my head, I thought, no. I have no idea what to do to make a lava man. On the outside, I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll make a lava man. Went back to my crew and said, how are we going to make a lava man? Close your eyes. They literally wanted him to glow from the inside. And I don't think anybody's ever done a makeup where something had to glow from the inside before.
They really asked you for it?
Yeah.
Out of that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on tonight, on Grimm. I'm very excited. I think it came out really well. Too close. It does. Come watch my lecture tomorrow and get some pictures of it. Yeah. Tomorrow night it's on, not tonight. Yes.
You also do like props or just makeup?
Well, props is a broad term. I've made props. But not necessarily your typical props. I'm not making. Like I've had to make fake swords or a blade or something. My brother's done a little more of like fake guns and helmets than I have. But you know, so there's a specialty something that needs to be made. I'm happy to do it. So I've definitely made props that just don't. They're usually unique, unusual things. Because I guess the makeup's there too. Was it a show, I think it's on already, called Wicked Tuna? It's called Wicked Tuna or Hot Tuna. That's about tuna fishermen. Like Deadliest Catch. They catch crabs, and on the show they catch large tuna. And even though I'm not actually supposed to tell people this, we made a tuna for the show. Which I think was just used for certain shots in the promotional piece or the commercial. So I'm not sure if that'd be considered a prop. I guess it would. It wasn't a makeup.
Do you work only for movies or for, I don't know, performance or another?
Primarily film and TV, but was it 2 years ago, a guy who was a old friend of mine came to me and said he wanted to do the Elephant Man on stage. But traditionally, when they do the Elephant Man, it's an actor just contorting his body into something representing the Elephant Man. But he wanted to have the Elephant Man on stage. So I also have pictures of that tomorrow. Come tomorrow. Promoting myself. Anyway, so we made this full body, literally head to toe, one-piece suit. Prosthetic suit, silicone prosthetic suit. We made it in a bunch of different pieces and then put it all together in one that he could just slip out of at the end of the day. So, literally, it was, the only thing that it was showing of his was his eyes, one arm from about here down, and 1 foot. Okay, done. Good scissors are important to know. It's amazing how many scissors are just not made very well. Or they're okay for like a week. Tweezers too. Scissors, tweezers. You gotta get good tweezers. Just in life, have good tweezers. Very hard to pluck my eyebrows with that too.
How do you deal with the eyes? I mean, you can tell these young people on the makeup, the makeup because of the eyes, they go, they're changed.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me know when you find out. Contact lenses are always good. I'm a big fan of contact lenses. There are certain directors and producers that try to avoid using contacts because contact lenses are expensive to make, not good ones. And then you have the contact lens tech come on set and do the, put them in, take them out, and take care of them. They don't want to pay for that. But, I mean, it makes a huge difference. If I could have, I would have brought contact lenses with this. Other things, there are other tricks which I'll sometimes do. If I'm doing somebody as an old person for a film, maybe I'll take their eye, the flesh under their eye, roll it down like this, and put some tape, like some surgical tape over it to give them a droop. So sometimes I'll glue the piece here and then pull it down, and then glue it down there. I'm going to do a similar thing on her eyes, the upper part of her eye. Sometimes, often, a piece goes on someone's eye and then they can't quite open their eye right. So I'll glue it along here and then just give a little bit of a lift, which you'll see me do. That'll help them be able to open their eye normally. top. That'd be all right. Can you hold this side? Get this side done first. A little bit of adhesive on here, though. Okay, we're gonna close your eyes, chin up. Just keep your eyes closed until I tell you, okay? Okay, just pull it out a little bit away from her skin.
Do you think that CGI is too far from doing what you do?
I'm sorry?
Do you think that CGI is too far from doing what you do?
CGI.
Yeah, like you know, putting makeup or do characterizations by computer.
Well, look, ultimately I work in movies because I like the storytelling. I like to tell the story for me, and I like to see a story told through practical, well, whether it's effects or just set dressing or costume or makeup or whatever practical details as much as possible. Okay, take this. Get that other line down and I'll worry about putting it on. That's good. Hold this. Aside from the makeup artists in here, other people going into movies? That's those, of course. So why do people want to go into movies?
I think it's the best way to reach people nowadays.
Yeah.
It reached me, I don't know, I don't see why it wouldn't reach other people.
That is an excellent answer. Part of what made me go into movies was the same thing. I was watching Superman, of all things, and I felt moved, you know, at times watching the first movie, the first Superman. And I thought, oh, I want to be able to reach people the same way. I want to be able to affect people emotionally. But also a big part of it is, for me, is kind of continuing the childlike play factor, playing dress up, imagining we're in some other world. Okay, switch back around, you take that side and hold that up. So, you know, I want to see those other worlds, and I want to be in that other world. And I don't want to be, I've done a couple movies where they were filmed on a green screen stage.
It's just not the same.
It's not, it's boring.
It's like Indiana, the first Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
well, the first three Indiana Jones for the Marvel Pack, and compared to the fourth one, the Christian School,
Yeah.
it's almost ridiculous. The fourth one, it's so much CGI in it.
Yeah. Well, the fourth one I felt like a bad TV movie follow-up. It was,
Yeah, I remember there was some point where everybody was hitting on George Lucas for many different scenes, like the nuclear explosion and things like that.
yeah,
And I remember that Spielberg had to step in and help him, and he said that he was the one that came up with the idea of the nuclear explosion, and the monkeys, I believe, also. And I think that that's a big problem in Hollywood nowadays. They just rely so much on CGI that they overuse it in movies, and they forget that the more you use a computer, the less realistic your movie is going to be. I think it's better to use practical methods.
I agree with you completely. Okay, let's hold it up that way. I read an article the other day that said, that was entitled, Special Effects Aren't. Because they're not special, because they're destroying what was special. And one of my favorite quotes from a movie in recent years was in The Incredibles. And one of the themes of The Incredibles was the bad guy kept saying, when everyone is special, no one will be. And that's what CG has done to, well, not CG has done it, but the use of CG in these big blockbuster movies that are just made to make money. The use of them is taking away what's special about putting people on another world. It's become so commonplace to see, I don't know, space, explosions, spaceships, aliens attacking.
I've noticed that even the acting gets better when the actors are using the makeup and it's not CGI. Because as you say, they get into more. They don't just imagine it. Now they are part of it in a way.
Yeah, you know what's a good example of that? A good example is Les Miserables. The fact that they were singing on camera made such a huge difference in the performances, as opposed to singing and getting it all on the recording and then lip syncing on camera. And it's exactly the same thing. You want to create everything real time so people can see and react to it, and the camera can see it. I wasn't interested in seeing Oblivion, really. I saw Tom Cruise talking about it the other night on the Daily Show. And he was saying that the director didn't just want to use CGI for shots of space and post alien destruction Earth. He went and took a camera crew up on top of volcanoes and shot them at sunset, captured actual light and sky, and they didn't just build it in a computer. They went and found atmospheres, which I'm sure they used a computer later to put them together, but I still have a lot of respect for the fact that they found real elements instead of just imagining them and creating them through pixels. And I don't have any problem with CG and computers when used properly or sparingly. It's another tool, and like any tool in filmmaking, you can overuse it. Like music. Music is way overused, I think, in films.
I think that what's special about music in films is only in certain key moments.
Yeah, well, the friend of a friend of mine who's a writer said, I think wisely, said, music in movies is like putting ketchup on steak. Sometimes a little dab is not a bad thing. It can enhance a good steak, even a good steak, but you don't want to drown it in it.
like the original Evil Dead trilogy?
I didn't actually. I did.
I mentioned it because of the makeup, but I don't know.
No, it was. I just found it ridiculous, and kind of. I don't mind a certain amount of campiness and fun in a movie. But yeah, it was so far over the top. I just didn't. It became just obnoxious to me. It was just like noise.
I see it like a B movie.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think it was kind of made to be that. Obviously, I'm in the minority. A lot of people love those first Evil Dead movies. I just didn't get it. I was like, why do I want to see another shot of a camera flying through the air, fast motion, and this weird actor kind of going, "Whoa."
Reverse camera.
Yeah. Although Sam Raimi's made a couple other films that I've loved, I thought, like Bill Paxton and Billy Bob Thornton, Simple Plan. I thought it was a beautiful movie. But it's probably his most sort of straightforward movie.
I actually like the way Sam Raimi directs, but the only thing that it's not that I don't like about him, it's something that worries me about him, is that he tends to change a lot of things, or exaggerate a lot of things when he does trilogy. Well, he's just done two, Evil Dead and Spider-Man. But if you check Evil Dead, it starts off like, he tries to make it as much horror as possible, and then in the third one it's just plain comedy.
Yeah.
And then you see Spider-Man, and the first one he tries to make it as decent as possible, and then you go to the third one, and it's so much drama that you think you're seeing a soap opera.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I agree. I see what you mean. It's a good point. I wasn't a fan of the Spider-Man movies. The second one, okay, but the movie I really liked it is. Quick and the Dead, I really liked. And that was kind of more classic Sam Raimi zaniness, but for some reason that don't work for me. Yeah, that third Spider-Man was just a mess. Oh, I gotta wonder, it's like the first one, I'm sure the producers had a very tight rein on it. And then probably the second one less, and the third one even less. So is it a matter of, just like even great directors, they need a producer there to say, no, you're not going to get that. That's too much. We don't need it.
Again, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that was, the fourth one was like, even though it wasn't, it felt like a contractual obligation. Let's just make it, doesn't matter how it is. Okay, so one of the beautiful things about covering a full face like that, I'm trying to bite my I know you're wicked now, but, and this kind of also, okay, as far as design goes, think about how to explain this. With something like this, what I would normally have done is make the chin piece, put the chin piece on her plaster face, then make, because we broke it down into 3 sections. So each section has a positive of her face with the sculpt on it, and then we make a negative mold. What I would normally have done is the chin piece, mold it, cast it, put it on her face, and then make a new positive for the face piece that incorporated the chin piece in that positive. Does that make sense? So the positive the face piece was going to go on would have in the stone the shape of a chin. we didn't have time to do that, so we just guessed. And I think we guessed pretty good. Because this went together really surprisingly well. So, there you go. There's a note, a side note. This is called Bondo. And it's just a thickened prosthetic adhesive, different than the other stuff I used. And the purpose of it is to use it kind of like Bondo for cars, where, I'll do it up here, where you can spatulate it on to help blend the edge of the piece into her skin or into another piece or into the bald cap, whatever is needed. I'm not terribly worried about the bald cap, I'm just sort of doing this to give you an idea of how it works. There are other places that almost are perfect, but not quite. I want to go ahead and fill in those little areas where there's a piece of edge. When you get a really good piece like this, you need very, very little of this. Sometimes you need a lot more because the piece didn't cast so well and the edge is too thick.
And how much time do you need to get costume finished or like something finished?
So how much time?
Usually you get to finish
It all depends on the makeup. If I haven't had a chance to do it already, I'll ask for 3 hours. Sometimes I can get it done quicker, sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer. But again, it also depends on how much I'm having to glue on. If I'm just putting a nose on somebody, it's going to be a lot less time on these.
Hey, I remember in Star Trek, you worked on Star Trek, right? I mean,
Yeah, the last movie, yeah.
yeah. I remember scene where an alien appears inside the Enterprise ship, and she had like scales on her face, like
Yeah.
round scales. How did you manage to do that?
Did she look like she was kind of made out of bronze?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. She turns like this, like everybody's talking around, and then it's just like a small thing. She just does it like.
I know. You know how many days we did that makeup? 21.
21 days.
21, including 2 makeup tests. 21 days, and she's in the movie for this.
I really
Call it the green sheet.
The what one?
The green sheet.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I did not touch the green chick. Wait, that sounds wrong. That's right, he did. I didn't, I had some ideas about how to do that. And I wasn't on set enough to be able to control it. So I give it to hands of somebody else, and I don't think they did a very good job. And it was the one of the very few, I should say, aliens in the movie where the CGI guys had to come in and fix it up. And the only one that actually needed fixing, there was a couple of them, like there's a big elongated sort of purplish looking alien in the beginning, and you see it blink. And that blink was put in by CG. I think other than that, I don't think CG touched the alien stuff, except for the green girl, because it just didn't come out so well, and they had to even out the skin tone.
So the alien guy that it's kind of like standing pissed off on the bar.
Yeah.
By the side of Uhura.
Yeah.
That's actually makeup.
Yep. That was not touched by CG.
And about materials, how much the materials and the customer cost for you and just the skin, makeup,
Sorry, I'm not getting all of that.
What kind
the
of
cost.
investment do you have in materials?
Investment, you don't have materials?
What money you put in?
And it depends on the piece. So there's, if I was to break it down, I'd say there's probably if it was just the material that's actually going on her, there's probably $150 worth of material going on her. But in order to get that $150, I have to buy, you know, 1 gallon kit of silicone and a gallon of Bednar and a whole pallet of these fard creams, which this in itself is a $350, you know, palette of colors, and these guys are just $70 a piece, and it just so it accumulates. You have to get, you know, you have to spend $2,000 or $3,000 to get everything to just do this one makeup. Of course, that $2,000 or $3,000 goes into other makeups as well.
But the studio pays for it?
Well,
I mean, like the producers?
kind of ultimately they pay for it because you charge them to make it.
It goes in your rate, right?
Yeah, so it goes into your budget.
Well, that's good.
If you're smart, it goes into your budget. Sometimes people aren't smart and they go out and buy things. Of course, you can always use that as a tax write-off too. Your eyes are really sticky for the last thing.
And how do you store your talent? And how do you store your talents?
How do I,
Your talent.
how do I discover it?